Every hotel has a room with a story. But what if one room wasn't hiding a story? It was hiding people. For more than 20 years, everyone who entered room 307 disappeared without a trace. No bodies, no suspects, no survivors. Then one investigative journalist accepted an anonymous invitation to spend one night inside. What he recorded was never supposed to be seen, so turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and watch until the end. Because the final minute of this story changes everything. This is the mystery of Room 307. The Room They Sealed Forever, Part 1. The Invitation. Some doors are locked for a reason. This one should have never been opened. On a cold October evening, investigative journalist Daniel Hayes received an envelope with no return address. Inside was an old hotel key. Attached to it was a handwritten note. Room 307, Ashwood Inn. Find the truth before they erase it forever. There was no signature, just a date. October 18th. Daniel had spent years exposing corruption and unsolved crimes across America. Anonymous tips were nothing new, but this one felt different. When he searched for the Ashwood Inn, almost nothing appeared online. No official website, no recent reviews, only a few decades-old newspaper articles mentioning unexplained disappearances connected to the hotel. According to one article, 7 guests had vanished between 1981 and 2003. No bodies were ever found. Every investigation ended the same way. Missing. Case unsolved. The next morning, Daniel drove nearly 6 hours through isolated mountain roads until he reached the hotel. The building looked frozen in time. Its faded sign barely hung above the entrance. Most of the windows were covered with wooden boards. The parking lot was empty except for one rusty pickup truck. As Daniel stepped inside, the smell of old wood and dust filled the air. Behind the front desk stood an elderly man wearing a perfectly pressed black suit. He didn't ask Daniel's name. He didn't ask for identification. Instead, he looked at the old brass key in Daniel's hand and quietly said, "You're late." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man gave a tired smile. "The last person carrying that key arrived exactly 20 years ago." A chill ran down Daniel's spine. Who was he? The old man's smile disappeared. He never checked out. The lobby fell silent. Then, from somewhere upstairs, 3 slow knocks echoed through the building. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel looked toward the staircase. The old man whispered one final warning. "If you hear those knocks after midnight, pretend you didn't." Daniel picked up his camera, took a deep breath, and walked toward the stairs. He had come searching for answers. He had no idea that before sunrise, he would become part of the mystery himself. The first night, the hallway leading to room 307 was completely silent. Not the kind of silence you find in an empty building. The kind that makes you feel like someone is listening. Daniel tightened his grip on the camera and walked forward. Each step echoed through the narrow corridor. The lights above him flickered one after another. Then, they all went out. Darkness swallowed the hallway. Only Daniel's flashlight remained. Its narrow beam landed on the old wooden door. Room 307. The brass numbers were covered with scratches. Not ordinary scratches. They looked as if someone had clawed at the door, trying desperately to escape. Daniel unlocked the door. The hinges groaned as it slowly opened. The room looked surprisingly normal. A queen-sized bed, a wooden desk, an old television covered in dust, a small bathroom, and a grandfather clock standing in the corner. Nothing looked unusual. Daniel placed his backpack on the bed and switched on 3 cameras. One faced the entrance, one pointed toward the bathroom. The third stayed on the desk, recording the entire room. He checked the time. 11:42 p.m. "Let's see what this place is hiding," he whispered. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. No strange sounds, no shadows, no whispers. Daniel almost laughed. Maybe the disappearances had been nothing more than local legends. Then, the grandfather clock suddenly stopped. Tick. Silence. Every camera inside the room shut off at the exact same moment. Daniel frowned. He checked the batteries. All of them were fully charged. Suddenly, his phone vibrated. An unknown number had sent him a text. There were only 4 words. "Look under the bed." Daniel's heart began racing. He slowly knelt beside the bed. At first, he saw nothing. Then his flashlight caught something hidden against the wall. An old cassette tape, covered in dust. Written across it in faded black ink were the words, "Play me." Daniel searched the room until he found an ancient cassette player inside the desk drawer. He pressed play. Static filled the room. For several seconds, nothing. Then a frightened man's voice began speaking. "If you're listening to this, I didn't make it. My name is Michael Turner. I checked into this room on October 18th, 2002. I thought someone was watching me. But I was wrong. They were living inside the walls." Daniel froze. The recording continued. "I found a hidden passage behind the bathroom mirror. I heard voices calling my name. If you hear 3 knocks, don't answer." The tape suddenly stopped. At that exact moment, knock. A slow knock echoed through the bathroom. 5 seconds later, knock. Daniel slowly stood up. His breathing became heavy. Then came the 3rd knock. Knock. The bathroom door, which he clearly remembered leaving open, slowly closed by itself. The room fell completely silent. Then, a voice came from behind the bathroom door. Soft, calm, almost friendly. "Daniel? Hey, now we've been waiting for you." Daniel had never told anyone he was coming to Ashwood Inn, so how did whoever or whatever was inside that bathroom know his name?